What's going on out there, folks? Welcome on in here to another edition of Sports Memo Today, a Tuesday World Cup special. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and I, like probably many of you, lost a little bit on Argentina this morning, but it's a long tournament. I was just talking with our guy, Pavlos Laguretos, off air, saying bounce back time is nigh. Pavlo's going to be my only guest today. You can grab his $2 Tuesday play, a 5% rated World Cup top bet you can get over at his page just for $2. You can ante up $5 and also get Dion D'Amico and Rocky Atkinson, 5%ers in the NHL for Dion and 5%er in the NBA for Rocky. $5 gets you all three of them. But I know you're excited to talk a little World Cup. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm American, in the U.S., soccer is probably the afterthought. When you talk football, you do not think about the pitch. But every time when the World Cup rolls around, I get hyped up for it. I even was up early in the morning just to lose my ass on Argentina. So, Pavlos, this is a safe space for us. I'll welcome in my guest here. Man, the start to the World Cup, I was thinking this might even be a little bit chalky of a tournament. It's been anything but here, especially on the match day today. How are you doing, brother?
Doing great, but it was actually expected things were happening up until today, and today all hell broke loose. I mean, Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia by 2-1. I mean, that then Denmark they had a goalless draw against Tunisia in a match where they were denied a penalty kick there at the stoppage time. It's just a weird tournament, and I was the first to say that this is going to be a weird tournament for many reasons. First of all, because it's held in the desert, and people, they're not accustomed to playing in those kinds of situations. Those temperatures, the humidity levels or whatever. And then, of course, it's not in the end of the season, which might actually be a good thing. But it's just remains. We just have to see that as the World Cup progresses and then the season restarts. It's going to be a long season and a long World Cup. So I'm just gonna leave today. I'm just gonna forget about today. It was just a bad luck with this Argentina, and we're moving on. There's a lot more really high-profile matches, really interesting matches, and of course, now that some of the first matches are played, then we have teams that are looking to get points in the second match, and there's we're going to see a lot of interesting matchups in the coming days.
Yeah, and that was kind of my point, hearing you guys talking on Stoppage Time this morning as well. That's another show here with Wager Talk TV. You can catch every Tuesday and sometimes Thursdays. Of course, this Thursday. No live programming because we got Turkey Day here stateside. Nice. But I couldn't agree more. Now that we have at least one game under the belt for all of these teams that we'll be betting on moving forward here, starting with the games on Thursday, it just gives you, I feel, a little bit more confidence in handicapping these games because, sure, you can look at play leading up and the qualifying matches, but some of those matches were played weeks, months ago, so it's hard to extrapolate that moving forward. So now we have games to look at, and draw from with this Wales and Iran team. So we'll start there because this Wales, they got a late tie with the U.S. I'm still kind of taking my lumps over that. But Iran, hey, not bad, right, Pavlos? They put the ball in the net twice. Unfortunately, the team they were playing put the ball in the net 6 times. So Iran and Wales both showed they have an ability to score, albeit late for Wales. You think some of that scoring continues as it moves forward, and I believe this game going on Friday.
Well, it has to. It has to because these two teams they're sitting at the bottom of Group B. Wales have 1 point, Iran have 0 points, so they know that they have to win this second match. Otherwise, they're probably gone. Actually, Wales can even get a draw here and maybe fight it off with England in the final match of the group stage. But there's very little wiggle room for these sides, and especially Iran. I mean, I saw them. Yes, their defense was terrorized by England, but their offense looked really nice. They have, Mehdi Taremi is a player who plays for Porto. We've talked about him in the Stoppage Time show as well. He plays in the Champions League, in the Portuguese league as well. He's a really lethal striker, and he We saw that in Iran's first goal. He had one single touch on the ball. He got a nice curved pass, and he measured everything. He just took one shot on goal and he scored. And then, of course, the second goal that he scored, it was the same player, was through a penalty kick. But the info that we get here, we already knew that, of course, is that Iran have a lot of quality up front and they can score. And Wales, we were used to seeing Wales playing really massive defense, and most of their matches were unders. Most of them still are, but we were used to seeing them keeping clean sheets, and that's something that isn't the case lately. They've kept just one clean sheet in the last, I believe, 10 matches across all competitions. That includes the UEFA Nations League, the World Cup, qualifiers. So they've lost some of that defensive, strength that they had. So, and offensively, they're not really good. Okay, they're not really good, but they have Gareth Bale, who is a really, is a totem for this country, and he always carries the team in his shoulders. He also has a couple of players, surrounding him who have a lot of talent, and they play in big European leagues. So. This is a spot where I do see both teams getting on the score sheet. This is one of my favorite bets. Some of you guys, if you're watching the Stoppage Time show, I like to bet on both teams to score, and I don't care who wins, simply because I don't really know who's going to win this one. All I know is that they really want to win. They have capable scorers in their ranks, and they have very leaky defenses. So I think going both teams to score at plus 105, I think that's a gift here. And just so you know, the price has shot up to plus 110 here. So I'm not really sure why this is happening, but judging by what I've seen so far in World Cups and how this group stage matches work, both these sides, they need to get in the score sheet in order to keep their qualification hopes alive. So both teams to score plus 105. That's the play here.
And you can get it at plus 110 at some shops as well. So always love it when we get a don't care who wins play. Both teams to score. And yeah, Gareth Bale, as an American, I see him in my nightmares, Pavlos. It always seems like when they need a boot, he's the one who gets it done. Let's talk this Netherlands and Ecuador game. Ecuador has a soft spot in my heart, I will admit. I spent some time there in college, so I was happy to see them get a win over the host nation to open the tournament. And Netherlands, 2-0 win over Senegal, but honestly, I think that score a little bit deceiving. It definitely didn't come as easy as some may have thought. So, how are you going to be betting this one, Netherlands Ecuador? Does that scoring continue, or you think maybe defense going to be the star here?
This is a tricky match for everyone involved. Ecuador, I underestimated them, to be honest. I'm going to be honest, I had Qatar plus half a goal, which is essentially a Qatar double chance. But I've never even seen Qatar play, and I saw them, and I wanted to, pluck my eyes out because they're really, really bad. And Ecuador, the only reason I faded them, yes, that's true. But the only reason I faded them was the fact that Ecuador, they're really strong when they play at home, because they play at an altitude, a really high altitude, and whenever players go up there, they're physically strained. That's why they have really really good results when they play at home. But when they play on the road, historically, and that was my mistake, historically they struggle away from home. But this is a new generation of Ecuadorian players. This is a new, style, a new approach to the game. And of course, they had against them, they had the easiest and the weakest team in the entire World Cup. So, but even so, they won the first match 2-0. They could have scored more goals. They even had one disallowed goal there in the first half. But the key factor here is that they're sitting at the top spot of the group, along with the Netherlands, and this is essentially a battle for the qualification. So whoever loses is probably going to be entangled into qualification scenarios, because Senegal are playing Qatar in the next match. So if Senegal win and for example either Ecuador or Netherlands lose, there's going to be like a bottleneck for that second spot. So I believe that both these sides will approach the game very defensively. Of course, again, Ecuador played really good defense against Qatar, but Qatar was just take that result with a grain of salt. The thing here is Netherlands. The Netherlands, they struggled a lot, and there's a couple of reasons why. First reason is that Memphis Depay, their star striker, wasn't fit to play the whole 90 minutes. He was introduced at the 62nd minute of the match, and he was, the team performed much better with him on the pitch. In the first half, Senegal was actually much better, but in the second half, after the introduction of Memphis Depay, Netherlands got that offensive spark. He started creating, facilitating for other players. He took the attention of the defenders. He drew the attention of the defenders to his person. So it was an overall sweaty win for the Netherlands, and they play good defense. We didn't really see that in the Nations League and in the World Cup qualifiers because, especially in the Nations League, they were in a tough group along with Belgium and Poland and Wales. They didn't really keep a lot of clean sheets, but the approach in this World Cup is much different and much more realistic because they have a coach who is, I believe, close to 80 years old. He was retired, but he came out of retirement in order to take over this Netherlands side and possibly lead them to their first, I believe, World Cup. I think they never won a World Cup. So the approach, he's a very talented and very experienced guy, a very experienced coach. So he knows that if you make a mistake, it's not going to be forgiven at this stage. So I believe that both the sides will approach the game very, very defensively. Nobody wants to win. Actually, nobody wants to lose. Everybody wants to win. Even a draw here wouldn't be, yeah, of course. Even a draw here wouldn't be catastrophic because both the sides would remain at the first and second spot with 4 points each. And either Senegal or Qatar, if either side wins, they're still below them. So I'm going to take the under 2.5 goals at minus 138 because I believe this is going to be a very, very cagey and a very low-scoring match between the two sides.
Yeah, and also with it going to minus 138, probably want to try and shop around, see if you can grab that now because you might even be able to see that moving against, the way that you'd like to not lay that juice there. So under the 2.5, and technically, Pavlos, that's another don't care who wins special for the folks. So 2 of them, as long as they keep the goals low, who cares who gets it done? That's Pavlos Laguretos. You can get a 7-day all sports, all access from him for just $69. That's just $10 more than a 3-day all access. That only runs at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com through Cyber Monday. Pavlos, I know you got the 5%er rocking. What else will people see over at your page when they head on over to sm.buzz/PL to grab your $2 Tuesday play?
Yeah, this is actually one of my strongest plays. So far in the World Cup, I'm gonna tell you now. It's on Friday, so it's game day 2. There's a lot of teams looking to get results. There's a lot of traps. I hope we avoid one this time. I'm gonna be loading plays. Sometimes I first want to look at the lineups that these teams deploy, and the lineups are revealed exactly 1 hour prior to kickoff time. So right now I have just the 5%. Of course, I have some props going live right now. I'm gonna be loading more props and more plays tomorrow. Of course, if you visit my page sm.buzz/PL, you'll find all the news. I do daily updates. I do daily picks. I load daily picks, and I'm gonna take a different approach because Argentina again. I'm still not over what Argentina did today. It's not gonna happen.
You
again,
and me both. You and me both, brother. We'll get through this. It's a safe space always here on Sports Memo Today. That's Pavlos Laguretos, and the bounce back is coming, baby. So grab the plays right now over at sm.buzz/PL. Again, no code needed to use that Thanksgiving special. It's just our way to say thanks to you, whether you enjoy the plays, whether you enjoy the free content, the write-ups that Pavlos does painstakingly. We couldn't do it without your support. So as a thanks to you, 7-day all access for just $69. You can use that as many times as you want. You can use that as many places that you want at Sports Memo and Wager Talk. No code needed for that. If you enjoy the show, all we ask you to do, hit that little bell. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our shows here on Sports Memo and Wager Talk. And, hop in below. Let us know what you're betting on and drop us a like, please. That's going to do it for us. For my guy, Pavlos Laguretos, I'm Dan Alexander. No show on Thursday because we are wishing you a happy, a healthy, and of course, a profitable Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next Tuesday on Sports Memo Today.